That's the wish of the sound coming in. I call it sparkle noise.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Wine and Divination. And this is a mini-sode, a segment.
Sub corner.
Yeah, and we're calling this Witchy and Whining About It.
Yeah, because we have wine.
Yes, and we are witchy and we're whining about it.
Yeah, we are.
But what spelled W-I-N-E.
Yeah, we're whining right now.
This segment is it's a shorter episode length, and the whole intention behind it is to kind of chat about our progress of our journey into the occult and witchcraft,
or just things we come across, things we just want to whine about. You know, I mean, wine, W-I-N-E. Just want to kiki about over some wines in terms of our spiritual journey.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're hosting this little corner coven moment of witchy and whining about it. And yeah, you're with Devin and Kristi.
Oh yes, I'm Kristi.
I'm Devin. And welcome.
Yeah, this is Witchy and Whining About It, a segment under Wine and Divination. Where should we start? I feel like there's so much that I have to talk about because I've been reading a bunch of books, and I've sometimes I text you about it, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to not text you about it because I just need to I need to hold it up so that I can talk about it on the pod.
Okay, then you begin.
Okay, guys. Listen to our last episode because we kind of talk about where we stand with all this stuff.
Episode 1.
And also we do a reading on my career, basically. Yep. But I have been reading a bunch of books. So for tarot, I've been studying this book. I've been studying 2 books, actually. One I'm a little more further on than the other, but one is Guided Tarot for Seamless Readings by Stephanie Capone. And I do like this because it's really straightforward and it just tells you what you need to know.
Oh, it says a beginner's guide to card readings, spreads, and intuitive exercises. Cool.
Yeah, it's really great because it goes through a few different spreads you should do. It asks you to journal about things. It tells you about how to purify your deck and
how do you purify your deck?
Well, that's the thing. I always see so I feel like most of my experience with witchcraft and stuff is mostly nowadays through TikTok, and I always see people knocking on their decks or putting a crystal on top of their deck or whatever, and those are ways to purify it. It kind of says to you can use smoke, either incense or mugwort or palo santo, and just kind of
I have so much mugwort.
Dude, you should make little bundles or something. You should look that up.
I have them because my aunt
I remember when she sent them to you, you're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, she sent me just bundles and bundles of dried mugwort.
I've been reading a lot about it.
Found outside of her. You can smoke it too. I've smoked
it
before.
And you can also make a tea.
Yeah.
It's
like ass.
Well, I heard you can put lemon and honey or whatever. But smoke is one way to cleanse it, and crystals clear quartz can remove negative energies in the deck. And apparently moonlight will also cleanse it. If you put it under a windowsill or outside under the moonlight, it can recharge and purify.
Cool.
I think that I've also heard knocking. If you knock 2 times on it, it'll wake it up. And also attune your.
I like that in the box. When it's in the box, you're
you're hello,
wake up, hello,
I'm here.
Speak.
Time to work. Also, it also says that the breath of life will do it. It says don't underestimate the power of your breath. It can be used to purify and clear your deck. Take 2 or 3 deep inhalations into your belly and exhale from your mouth directly onto your deck before or after readings to clear the energy. And I feel that makes a lot of sense.
That resonates with me because I do that with dice.
That's how when you
give yourself luck.
That's true. That's so interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's from this book. Again, Guided Tarot for Seamless Readings by Stephanie Capone. I do think it's a newer book, but I do like that it's very straightforward, and it gives you I feel like there's so much fluff or history when it comes to other books, which sometimes if you're in the mood for that, that's really great. But then this book is really just telling you what you need to know. And then I've been pairing that with a book that I actually found out through Guided Tarot by Stephanie Capone. In the back there's a list of other witchy and tarot related books to check out. And so I found this book, which I kind of texted you about as like a must read. It is 78 Degrees of Wisdom, A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness by Rachel Pollack.
Okay.
And so this is apparently like a classic and a holy grail of tarot. It's like a staple. And I can see why, because I've read through like maybe a third of it. And she really breaks down the tarot cards in a way that is like kind of like a hero's journey, you know?
Okay.
Like the tarot represents you and you are a figure going through this like sort of like journey. And so it's kind of easy to remember, especially like the major arcana, of what the meanings are in that way. And then it also breaks down like historically what some of the meanings are in the original Rider-Waite tarot artwork. And I feel like that's been really helpful, because then you pick up these little like mnemonics where you can be like, okay, so like this means like this, and like it's just easier to understand because for me, I feel like I've always been someone who learns better by understanding why something is. And I feel like this book is gives me exactly that.
Well,
it's
they say that's okay. So there are these. Have you ever heard of these competitions where you have to just memorize numbers?
No, but that sounds awful.
And it's like people do it and memorize like hundreds of numbers.
Ew.
But the way they remember is by assigning like a story.
Mnemonics, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Ew.
Oh, that's so not me. I'm like very not a numbers person, but I do feel like for these cards, like with the pictures and like understanding the symbolism, the original intention behind the symbolism historically is really interesting. And I think that really helps me to know at least some of the major arcana cards. And so I highly recommend to get this book. Again, it's 78 Degrees of Wisdom, A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness by Rachel Pollack.
Okay, cool. I have a book for you. Hold on, let me go grab it.
In the meantime, I'll also talk about another book that I've been reading. Okay. There's actually two. So one is the first book of my journey that I actually lent to Devin, and it's a brand new book. It literally just came out. It's called Spellbound by Chae Won Koo, and I'm so sorry to the Koreans if I butchered that, but it was such a eye-opening journey through and like general overview of magic through the lens of like a modern person, because I feel and a person that of like Asian diaspora who is like trying to navigate all of that and also navigate like the whole modernity of like crypto and like NFTs and also like applying witchcraft to that and like and also looking at the future of like what does it mean like when we live on the moon and shit. And so that I thought that this was really interesting, and I love that it tied in a lot of like ancestry work and then also like does like really it's just like a great overview of little things that you need to know, and it gives you just enough to like whet your appetite and want to know more about it. Like they were talking about like sigils and also like creating a I don't remember what it's called. It's like creating like this artificial entity, like spiritual entity that like does work for you, that can help you finish a task. And like that is so interesting, and I like so want to try that. And it's like in these chapters that they're all like divided by elements. And I just found it to be super interesting, and like it suggests like how to start working with Hecate and like and like working with like angels and demons and how that is, and it's just so I highly recommend it.
I need to get my own copy because I'm really rough on my books, and I like
you need to get one of these because it's just like it's such a beautiful book too. Like the artwork is really amazing, and then also the layout of some of the pages is like cool because it has you like turning the book and like reading a spiral of like text. And like I originally found out about this book from TikTok. I think it was Chaewon's TikTok, where she talks about how like the actual book itself, like the cover is a spell. Or something like that, which I can see it. It's like a cool like mirrored effect, and it's like a new witch's guide to crafting the future, and
cool.
And there's like it's just a very cool, very modern take on everything, and but also is very like grounded, and like pays respect to like the past and to your ancestors. So I really like that, and I'm really looking forward to more books from her.
Well, speaking of grounding, I had done one of the exercises that I know with you.
Yes.
My grounding exercise.
I want to get a copy of this book too.
Yes. So I have this for you if you want to take it and look into it, because it has all my notes in it too. It's about cleansing your chakra. And I would actually feel like a legitimate lightness after I did these exercises.
Oh, wow. Had you done like other chakra work? Because I feel like I've never really done much chakra work, and maybe I had inadvertently done it from like doing things with like yoga, because I really felt that I really like when I did it regularly, I really liked it and I really felt great. And I wonder if I was inadvertently doing like chakra work during that. I don't know.
Well, this talks about like out of body travel and like stuff like that, and it's about like I said, absorbing the energy of others and holding on to their energy, and how to cleanse that from you, energy in your body, and how it gets stuck in your chakra. I really love these exercises about cleansing the energy in your aura, and just the visualization in this was really like spectacular for me, so and something that I remember to this day. So it was very visually written.
Yeah.
All about kind of using the tools to these visual tools to ground yourself. And sorry, the book is called You Are Psychic by Deborah Lynn Katz, and I've actually spoken to Deborah Lynn Katz before.
Oh shit, how?
I was a reporter, and we were like doing an article on something psychic for Halloween.
This was in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, in New Jersey. Okay. And I was like, well, I know a psychic of this book that I know. So I called her.
And she's from New Jersey?
No.
Oh.
No.
Where's she from?
I don't know.
Oh, you like called her on the phone?
I just like called her, yeah.
Oh, and
wow. California.
Oh my God.
And she also wrote the sequel, which I haven't. It's called Extraordinary Psychic. It's a sequel to You Are Psychic, which I haven't read yet. But here, take on this.
This is so cool because like the cover is like it has butterflies and also a big old head
with like really hands. 2 small hands.
Yeah, tiny hands holding this intricate mandala. Wow.
Yeah. And I think this cover is not in print anymore. Right.
Debbie.
I know.
Why?
Deborah. So it's all about like discovering your own clairvoyance, but I just find the exercises to doing that. I had trouble with her advanced visualization exercises about like it would have you like imagine a rose, which would then shift into something else, which would ideally kind of like speak the language of your psychic.
Oh, it like tells you something.
Yes.
Oh, I see. But you're having trouble with that?
Yeah.
Oh. I wonder if you try now. When was the last time you tried?
That was like, I was going to say, this is like circa like 10 years ago,
Bruh,
which is like
you need to try again.
Pre like medication, like pre-diagnoses, pre just peace. So I do.
You're
need
a different
to try
person
again.
now.
Yeah, I'm definitely a different person than I am 10 years ago. So definitely would come at it from a different perspective this time. So, but I think you'll find, and I've highlighted the most important parts.
Okay, I'm so excited to read this, and I feel like it's going to pair really well with the book I just finished reading, which is Pure Magic by Judica Isles. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's like a complete course in spellcasting, and I found this to be really great and really enlightening, and I think you should get a copy of this, and maybe you should even take this copy. But also I kind of want to write down some of the spells and try them. But they're all like, it's literally like a magic 101 with kind of, and she makes it really accessible. It's like mostly it's nothing like, it's nothing crazy, because she has another book that I also bought, which was and I want to go through this with you, because it's Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells.
Ooh.
And like one of those spells, this is stuck with me. It's like a spell that if your like boyfriend or whatever is like cheating on you or something like that, to like get him to come back to you, you take this like date. It's like crazy. I was like who, I want to know who out there is doing this and if it worked.
Like a date, fig date?
Like a fucking date from a tree. Like you put a date in your vagina and you sleep with it in there for 7 nights. So you take it out and then you put it back in every night.
Hell no.
For 7 nights. And then you chop it up and you feed it to the guy.
How?
And then he's supposed to like stick with you. So I feel like, and what's interesting is like, I was telling my partner about this too, because he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But what's interesting is it's just purely an encyclopedia of 5,000 spells from all over the world and from all different parts of time.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take what resonates with me and leave what doesn't. And I feel like that spell is like so strange. And I'm not knocking anyone who's tried that. And like, if you have tried that, please email us at wine.divination@gmail.com. And please let me know if that actually worked, because I am so curious.
Are you still with your partner?
Yeah. And did they come back to you? Yeah. And I feel like stuff like that. And why I bring that up is because stuff like that is something that is so like exactly what you think when you think of like witchcraft. You're like doing crazy shit. But in Pure Magic, by the same author, Judica Isles, it really gives you stuff that is really tangible, that is really like stuff that you can actually like, you know, do, and that is very like beginner friendly.
Okay.
And it goes through a lot of different things, like working in dreams and working with animal allies, and like what's like crystals, and like what are essential oils, and what are fragrance oils, and like what's different, and like what not to mix together because they create like noxious gas or whatever.
Shit.
And like the whole like the magic calendar, and like when things are more potent, and when you want to add things, and when you want to subtract things, and like it's just, and there's a lot of like great like beginner spells that I really want to try, like especially a lot of the money spells, like I really want to try it, and I want to see if they work.
We do live in a capitalist society.
Yeah, we really do. And
inflation is,
I have to tell you, you have to try this.
Okay.
And also listener, you need to try this. So there's this thing called the money miracle mantra.
Okay.
And it says that if your fortunes need a dramatic upswing, try repeating this mantra for wondrous results.
Okay.
And it's, a money miracle happens to me today.
A money miracle happens to me today.
So I've been saying this randomly throughout, like just whenever I remember to. I'm just like, oh, a money miracle happens to me today. And so, and what's crazy was like, I feel like it worked. When I got my paycheck, I had an unexpected bonus sum.
Oh.
And I don't know if it was a mistake or what, but
it's a money miracle.
Seriously, it happened to me that day.
Oh my God.
So remember, a money miracle happens to me today. And you have to say it in the present tense because it's happening. It happens to you today.
A money miracle happens to me today.
Yeah. And just say it whenever. And apparently, it's really great as a pair with other ritual or spell money enhancements. But also if you kind of like forget about it, that means you don't really need it anymore.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So a money miracle happens
to me today. Okay.
Say it like a million times.
A money miracle happens to me today. A money miracle happens to me today. Okay.
And it does say like repeat the phrase to suit your needs. Say it once a day or once every hour. I know someone who wrote it 100 times a day, detention style, and someone else who repeated it every time she was stopped at a traffic light. So it really doesn't. It just like tailor it to whenever you remember it. Literally, like whenever you remember it, just say it.
Money miracle happens.
I feel like it's kind of been working. Obviously not massive miracles, but little like I could not explain what had happened to my paycheck, but I am thankful for it.
There we go.
And it's stuff like that's in here, and like little introduction to like what kind of floral ingredients like you would like to keep around, and like what you can do with it, and like lots of baths. Baths? Yes, like baths, like in the bathtub.
Okay.
That you can take. And so I 100% recommend this book.
Really quickly, let's talk about what we're bringing to the table each. So
yeah, we've amassed a small collection of reference books and oracle card decks, and also like tarot card decks. And so I feel like I would love for you guys to know what we're working with and what we're choosing from.
Yeah. So my main tarot deck is called Spirit Speak Tarot Deck, created by Mary Elizabeth Evans in Oakland, California, 2014. All the best to you, she says. Thank you very much. Me and Kristi, I believe, both have a copy of Modern Witchcraft Book of
do.
Tarot, Your Complete Guide to Understanding the Tarot by Skye Alexander.
We do.
And of course, I just gave Kristi
Yes.
You Are Psychic by Deborah Lynn Katz. And she has the sequel, Extraordinary Psychic by Deborah Lynn Katz. I also gifted me and Kristi a new Rider-Waite deck.
I'm so excited for this, actually.
But they are gold and silver holographic, and they're like foiled cards, and they're good for beginners because they have meanings and reverse meanings on them. So, for example, I just randomly pulled the Six of Swords, and it says, a ferryman carrying passengers in his punt.
What?
In his punt.
His punt? Like a punt? You punt something?
Yeah, in his punt.
If you know what that means, email us at wine.divination@gmail.com.
Further shore. Ooh, divinatory meetings, journey by water, route, way, envoy. Okay, so maybe they won't help us.
But interesting, because water is always about like divine feminine and intuition and stuff. So maybe it's about, us doing the show and like getting in tune with our intuitive side.
Sure. Cool. So I gifted us each a silver and a gold deck. So we have those.
They're really cool.
I have Sacred Vision Oracle cards gifted to me by my Aunt Doreen. And she also gifted me the Power deck, which is used. It wasn't new. She said she couldn't find this specific deck new anymore, so she bought it used.
Oh, interesting.
And it's called the Power Deck, The Cards of Wisdom by Lynn V. Andrews.
And you never cleansed them. Speaking of like cleansing and stuff, do you feel like they like had served you really well? I mean, I feel like they served you really well.
I haven't used them really.
Oh,
ever. Yeah.
Maybe it's time to cleanse them.
I know. And then I also have the Occult Tarot gifted to me by my boyfriend, Ali, by Travis McHenry. And it's a tarot deck with all occult kind of, what you would find the traditional meaning of, like our stereotypical thing when we think of occult.
Demonic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they have
satanic.
They have like Six of Pentacles. They have all these kind of like, I'm going to say occult-y drawings on them, but I have that deck as well. I should cleanse all of them, actually.
That's true. Now that we know about cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have, right?
Yes, that's all I have. Speaking of cleansing, this scent, it's good luck incense.
I like it. I like it more than the
really
other
good.
one.
Me too.
Nirvana.
I like it.
Okay. What I have, my favorite deck is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot deck by Ussi, and or Yusi. I don't know. That is a favorite of mine, and it's kind of my go-to every time I have like questions. Another one is I have an Alphonse Mucha tarot deck, which is, it says artwork by Julia F. Massaglia and Barbara Nocenzo. And then I have a movie tarot deck that Devin gifted me, which is illustrated by Natalie Foss and written by Diana McMahon Collis. And this one's really cool, and I haven't like used it too often, but I really want to, like, once I get better at knowing the meanings, I feel like tying them into movies and movie characters and movie scenes is going to be really cool, because these are like movies that I like know.
Yeah.
And
is that Donnie Darko on there?
Yes. And freaking Lydia Dietz.
Oh, hey.
And
The Labyrinth.
Yeah, and David Bowie and the Goblin King and Uma Thurman, and then I don't know who this is. I'm really excited about this, and I really want to like use it more, but it's all movie themed.
Cool.
And then another one I have, which was a gift from a friend of mine, shout out to Sue Lee. It's Tarot of the Divine, which it's by Yoshitani, and it's all inspired by like multicultural global deities, folklore, and fairy tales.
Cool.
Which is really cool, because then not only do I get to get advice for myself, but also learn about these like fairy tales around the world. And the art is really nice, so I enjoy that one. Another deck that I have is, of course, the original Rider-Waite tarot deck, of course. It's a classic.
Staple.
Which is just great for just learning and then you can like branch off into these other decks. The last few decks I have are Oracle cards, and so I have an Oracle deck from Devin, which I think is the first thing you ever gifted me.
Maybe.
That was tarot related. It's fashion oracles, life and style inspiration from the fashion greats by a bunch of people. I won't list them all. There's just a lot. Oh, from Lawrence King Publishing. They're a great inspiration, but they don't tell me what I need to know in some ways.
Interesting. So they might just be a creative deck.
Yeah, maybe. Like if I need like inspo for the day or something like that. And then I have another deck from Ussi, but they are an oracle deck, and it's the Supra Oracle deck. And this is all inspired by, I think, like Jungiism.
Okay.
It's all about kind of like the internal mind and what goes on under the surface, which I think is interesting. It's very abstract. And then lastly, my newest oracle deck is the Wild Gunyam Oracle. Soul guidance from the wild divine. And I like it because it's like very free. Kuan Yin, which is like the deity that I have been working with the longest unintentionally. Like when people do like deity work, I feel like it's like somebody who called to them or whatever, and I think this is just something that I've carried over from like my parents.
Cute.
And I just like that she's like this free young girl doing things, and it gives you like direct advice and like how to, like it gives you what to do or whatever. But that's what I have. Now we have this big ass pile of our books. Maybe we should take a picture for our Instagram.
Yeah, we should.
So follow us at wine.divination at Instagram.
Email us at wine.divination@gmail.com.
And visit wineanddivination.com to see all our other social medias and to listen to our previous episodes.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, rate, review, and subscribe, please. It does wonders for us. And maybe we should create a mantra around that. Rate, review, subscribe.
Rate, review, subscribe. Rate, review, subscribe.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.